Hey techies, welcome to ProGrad's Build Your Own series. This series is all about building cool tech projects that are super fun. So stay tuned, and in no time, you'll be adding so many amazing projects to your portfolio. In this episode, we will be developing a personal portfolio website similar to this, which you can use for your projects, tech profile, and much more. If you see, it kind of speaks for you. So, are you thrilled to get started? Without delaying any further, I leave the rest to our expert coder, Mr. Ramkumar.
Hello everyone. Today we are going to build a personal portfolio page. You want to see how it looks? Here we go. We have a nav bar, a profile section, about me section, my skill section, my work section, and finally, let's talk section. The portfolio looks so cool, isn't it? Come, code along with me. By the end of this video, you will have your portfolio ready. We will be using Visual Studio Code to build our portfolio. If you don't have the Visual Studio Code software, click on the card above to watch the VS Code installation video. So if you are building your portfolio page with me, I would suggest you to watch this video using your mobile and simultaneously build your portfolio using your laptop. If you are planning to use only your laptop, then try using split screen option. If you are a Windows user, try clicking on Windows key plus left arrow on your keyboard, then click on up arrow or down arrow. If you are a Mac user, then you can use drag and drop option for this split screen. I'll just show you how. Our first step in getting started with the project is creating the project folder. I'm going to create a new folder over here. I'm going to name it as portfolio. Inside this folder, I'm going to create a new folder and I'm going to name it as assets. This folder is going to contain all the images which are required for our project. I have given all the images required for the portfolio project in the description. You can download all the files and then keep them inside the assets folder. Let's launch the VS Code and open the folder which we have created. Now everything is set. Let's dive in and get started with portfolio project. Let's create a file and give the name as index.html. Where index is the file name and HTML is the file type. Similarly, we can create a style sheet and name it as style.css. Now, let's start building the HTML page of our portfolio web page. First thing first, let's create a basic template for our HTML by using embed shortcut. We can get the basic template by just typing exclamation mark symbol and clicking on enter. Here we go. We got the basic template ready. Doc type represents the type of this document. We have a HTML tag to contain all the HTML elements, head tag to contain important informations about the document, for example, title. Finally, the body tag. Finally, the body tag is to contain the elements which will be displayed in the web page. Fine. As the next step, let's change the title of the HTML page to portfolio. And then let's link the style sheet to our HTML document. Let's type link CSS. Here, since we have given the default name of the style sheet, so it's already pre-written. Let's build the first section of the portfolio. The first section of the portfolio is a navbar. Let's create a navbar by typing nav. Have you noticed what I just did? I just typed nav and clicked on enter and I got the opening and the closing tag of a navbar. Yes, this is because of Emmet. Emmet helps us to write codes faster and makes our work easy. Inside this navbar, we are going to have 5 navigation text. I'm going to type A stands for anchor and I'm going to just give asterisk 5. See what happens when I click on enter? Yes, Emmet has created 5 anchor tags for me. Let's quickly fill in the data. Now, let's check our web page using the live server. Now we have created the HTML portion of the navbar. Come, let's go and style the navbar in the style sheet. Selecting the style sheet. There are 2 important steps we should do before styling our navbar. Let me tell you what they are. Let's check our portfolio web page. Here, if you notice, there is some preset styling applied here. It's always a good practice to remove those styling and start styling our web page. This is the first step we are going to do. Let's type star, which is a universal selector. We are styling the whole document and we are going to remove the preset styling. Opening the curly bracket. Here I'm going to give margin as 0. I'm going to give padding as 0. And if you notice our portfolio web page, all the text are in white color. So I'm going to give color as white. I'm going to give its code, that is hash followed by 6f. Now let's go for the second step. When I say the word styling, what comes to your mind? I want you guys to leave the answer in the comment section and continue this video. For me, font is the first thing that comes to my mind. Font always plays an important role in the appearance of the web page. Let's quickly go and import the fonts which we wanted to use in this web page from Google Font website. Let's use Poppins font. So I'm clicking on Poppins. I'm going to select regular 400 and semi bold 600. Let's use 2 different fonts in our web page. So let's also go and select one other font. Let's search for Open Sans. Yes, we got it over here. Just selecting this. Again, I'm going to click on regular 400 and semi-bold 600. Once after selecting this, you can go and click on this at import and you can copy this line of code and we can paste it on the first line of our style sheet. Yes. Now we can start styling our navbar. First of all, I'm going to select this navbar. I'm just typing nav and I'm going to give height for this navbar. I'm going to type height. I'm going to give the height as 60px. Let's give background color. So background color. So let's look at the color over here. So we're going to give this color. So we have the hexa code for this color. Now let's quickly check our output page. Yes. We want our navbar to be flexible. If you go and check over here and I go and inspect this web page, even when I reduce the size of it, the navigation bar is getting adjusted and it is trying to fit in to the different size of the screen. So what we can do is we can make this nav as a flex. I'm going to type display property and I'm going to give it as a flex. No, you will not find any big difference over here because the default direction of flex itself is row. This entire text content is in the center. So let's give justify content and give center. Now let's see how it looks. But if you watch this closely, all the text are sticking to the top. Let's see how to bring it down. For bringing it down, we can use align items. I'm going to give align items and I'm going to give center. Now we got it in the center. Now let's style this anchor element and make it look like this. Now I want to select the anchor element which is inside the nav bar. So I'm going to type nav. I'm going to use a direct child selector. Yeah. I'm going to give font family as Open Sans and font size as 16px and we wanted these text to have some padding, something like this. Let's give padding as 25px. Now let's see how do we remove this underline. Let's type text decoration and give none. Here we go. We got the nav bar ready. And if you notice the nav bar, when we hover on top of this text, yeah, the color of the text is getting changed. Let's see how do we do this. For performing this, we will be using pseudo selector. So let's type nav a. I'm going to give hover. I'm going to change the font weight. I'm going to give it as bold. and color, I'm going to give it a A861FF. Now let's go and try it out. I go and hover on top of this. Got it. Now we have styled the navbar. Currently, we have not given any values for the href attribute of anchor tag. We will be giving it once after completing the entire web page. The next section is going to be the profile section. I'm creating a div element. Div stands for division. In the profile section, we have an image, and we have a name, and we have something about this person over here, and finally a button. I'm going to type img, the short form of image, and next I'm going to give a paragraph tag, and for this particular text I'm going to give a span, and finally I'm going to give a button. First, let's go and give the image URL. So you already have the image in the assets folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the src part. I'm going to give // I'm going to click on assets. Inside this I'm going to give profile picture. I'm going to select that. Once after saving it, let's see. Yeah, we have this image over here, and here I'm going to give the alternate as, that's ALTS profile pic. This alt is used to display this particular text. Basically, when this image is not loaded properly, whatever we give here in the alt will be displayed over here. I'm going to give the name here. I'm going to give that text here in the span. Here, my resume is a button, right? When we click on this, basically when we click on this, the resume is getting downloaded. So how do we do that? We're going to do that by using anchor tag again. Inside this button, I'm going to give an anchor tag. I'm going to give my resume here. So already we have an attribute called href. In the href, I'm going to select one of the sample document. Here you guys can give your resume here, and I'm also going to use one more attribute, and the attribute is going to be download. Now let's check. Here we have this button. I'm just clicking on it. Yeah, when I click on it, it is taking me to the download page. So it's working fine. Now, for styling this particular division, we wanted to use either class selector or ID selector, right? So I'm going to give both class and ID here. I'm going to give the classes profile and IDs also profile. I'm just saving it. Now we're done with the profile picture. Now let's go and style this in CSS. First of all, let's style the profile. I'm using class selector to select the profile. So I'm typing dot profile, and inside this I'm going to give a background. I'm going to give background as URL, and inside this I'm going to say // I'm going to choose the background which I already have. It's portfolio BG. I have given the background, and I'm going to say what is going to be the height of it. I'm going to give height as 650px. Now let's see how it looks. Yeah, and also I'm going to say this section is going to be a flex box. So I'm typing display as flex. And if you notice here, so everything is aligned in column wise. So we should give flex direction. Flex direction is column. And let's give justify content as center. Let's see. Align items as center again. And finally, text align as center. Now let's see. Now the image is looking too big, right? Let's go and reduce the size of the image. I'm going to just select this image. I'm going to type dot profile, and I'm going to select the images inside this profile. So this is called as a descendant selector. Yeah, I'm selecting it and I'm giving width as 250px and height is 250px. Let's see how it looks. The image has become small. And how do we make this image like this? Right? We have a property called as border radius. So let's type border radius is 150px. No, we've got this image like this. Next, let's go and style the paragraph tag. Let's type dot profile. P stands for paragraph. Having selected the paragraph which is inside the profile, I'm going to give font family. Font family as Poppins, and I'm going to give font weight. Font weight is bold, and I want this font to be a little bit bigger, so I'm going to give font sizes 54px. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, and I want some margin, and this should have some margin to its previous element, that is the image. So let's give margin top and give 25px. Looks better. Next, we're going to go to this span. Let's style this span. Now till now we were using dot, right? That is, we are using this selector. What is it? The class selector. Now if you want to use ID selector, we have to use hash profile. So normally class is for styling multiple things at a time, and if you wanted to select one particular thing and style it, we go with ID selector. Here we are just using ID selector. I'm selecting the profile, and inside that I'm selecting span. We're going to style the span. First of all, I'm going to give the width as 310px. I'm going to give font family Open Sans. Let's give font sizes 18px. And finally, let's give font weight as 100. Yes, we have styled the span. Now we should go and style the button, that is my resume button. Let's come here. Let's type dot profile and type button. I'm going to style the button. I'm going to give width. Let's say width as 150px 150px. Let's remove the background. Let's type background as none. Let's give some padding to the button. Let's type padding. Let's give 15px. See how it looks? Given some padding. If you notice here we have some border radius. Let's also go and give border radius for our button. Let's type border radius. Let's give 5px. And currently the border color here is black. Let's change the border color to white. Type border color. Let's give it as white. Let's give some margin. Give margin as say 30px. Now we have styled the profile button. Now let's go and style the text inside the profile button. Let's select anchor tag which is inside profile. Say profile A. So I'm using a descendant selector here. Font family, I'm going to give font family as Poppins. I'm going to give font sizes, say 18px. And if you watch here, this text is having an underline. So let's remove that by giving text decoration. Let's give text decoration as none. Now let's see. Yeah, looks good. Here, when we hover on top of this, can you see there is a shadow coming, right? Let's see how to do this. Again, we're going to use the pseudo selector hover. I'm going to type dot profile space button hover. I'm going to type box shadow. I'm going to say 0px, 1px, 2px, and again 0px. And the color is going to be white. Now let's see how it looks. Now we have styled our profile section. The next section is going to be about section. Here we have who am I text. Below who am I, we have three icons. One is user, next one is graduation, the third one is heart. Below that we have text about user, about graduation, and about interest. Now let's go to VS Code and start building about section. Let's type div and let's give classes about and IDs about. Inside this div, I'm going to create h2 tag for this who am I. Next, I'm going to insert these three icons. For this, I'm going to give a div. I'm going to give the classes icons. After these icons, we have 3 paragraph text, right? So let's create one more div. And inside this div, let's create 3 paragraph tag. So P star 3, we've got 3 paragraph tag. So the div which contains all the paragraph element, I'm going to give the classes about text. Inside this paragraph, I'm going to give the text what is there here. And I want you guys to go with your own text. Now I'll show you how to insert an icon from icons library. Let's go to Font Awesome library. You can find the link for this website in the description. So after landing on this particular page, copy the first one, right? That is copy link tag and paste it in the head portion of the HTML page like this. Now we have just linked the library of Font Awesomes. Now what we can do is we can go to Font Awesomes icon like this, and you can search for user. I just search for user. I've got the user icon here, and I'm going to copy this HTML element and I'm going to paste it here inside this div. Let's see. We are not able to see because everything is in white color. So let's just remove that and check. Yes. So we're getting the icon over here. Fine. So similarly, I'm going to do for the next 2 icons also. I'm going to go and search for graduation. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it here. And the last one is going to be heart. So I'm going to search for heart. Just copying this. I'm just pasting it over here. Now my web page looks like this, right? So I'm going back and I'm just removing the comment what I have given initially. Now we are done with the HTML portion of the about section. Now let's go and style this about section in the style sheet. Let's go to style sheet. Now let's start styling it. I'm going to give dot about. I'm going to give the display as flex, and let's give flex direction as column. Let's give justify content as space evenly. And finally, align items as center. Let's also give padding as 30 px. Now we want to give this a background, right? So let's go and select this about. I'm using ID to select it. I'm going to give the height as 400 px and background color is the color which we have already used. That is hash 1E, 1E, 1E. Yeah. Now let's see how it looks. This is how it looks now. The reason why I have given class here and here I have given ideas, because so if you just look at the web page, right? So these are going to have a similar styling, right? This about section, skill section, and work section are going to have similar styling. So I'm going to just use the same thing and style it again. That's the reason why I've just selected the ID and style the about section. Now let's go and style the H2. Let's give font family as Poppins. Let's give font weight as bold. Let's give font sizes 36px. Save it. Now let's select this div which is containing icons and the div which is containing paragraph. How do we do that? I'm going to type about text this dot about text comma dot icons. I'm going to style it together. First of all, I'm going to give the display as flex. I'm going to give justify content as space around, and let's give align self as center. Let's save it, and let's also give the width as 1200 px. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, it looks good. Now let's go and style the about text separately. I'm going to select this dot about text. I'm going to give font family as open sans. I'm going to give font weight as 300 and font sizes 18px. Let's check. Looks better. Now let's select the icons and give font sizes 30px. Now let's select about text using direct shell selector and selecting the paragraph. Let's give width as 300px and let's give text align as center. Yeah, it looks perfect. Now we have styled the about me section. Now let's see what we are supposed to do. Now we are supposed to build my skills section. Let's go to HTML. Let's start building the skills section. Let's type div and let's give the classes skills and IDS skills, and inside this div we have one h2, and then we have a div. Inside the div we have a progress tag, and this is nothing but a span. Let's see how do we go and do that. I'm going to type h2, and inside this h2 I'm going to give my skills. I'm going to copy this, I'm going to paste it over here. Next I'm going to create one more div. I'm going to give the classes progress, and inside this div I'm going to create one span and one progress. This is going to be one set. Similarly I want 5 such sets. So here I'm going to use embed shortcuts to the max to create whatever we want. I'm going to type span plus progress. I'm going to put bracket. I'm going to say I want 5 in number. So I'm going to give span plus progress into 5. See, we got 5 spans and 5 progress. Now let's quickly fill the data. The first span I'm going to give JavaScript. For the second span I'm going to give HTML and CSS. For the third one I'm going to give Node.js. Next I'm going to give Angular. Next I'm going to give UI, UX and UI. Now let's check the progress bar. If you notice the progress bar is just moving towards left and right. Yeah. So by using maximum and value attribute, we can able to make the progress bar look like this. So let's give max as 100 and value is 70 for JavaScript. I'm going to copy this attributes, max and value attributes. I'm going to paste it in all the progress tag like this. Once after that, I'm going to change the values from 70 to the required value. For HTML and CSS, I'm going to give 90. For Node.js, I'm going to give 30. For Angular, I'm going to give 80. And for UX and UI, I'm going to give 95. Now let's check. Yes, we got the progression bar ready. Now we are done with the HTML portion of skill section. Now let's go and style the skill section in CSS. Now if you watch closely, so about section and skill sections are having similar styling properties. So I'm not going to style once again. And we've already given this dot about, right? Here we have given dot about. Here in the about section, display flex, flex direction, justify content and align items and padding are going to be common for the skill section also. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here. I'm going to give comma to this. I'm going to include dot skills. Just saving it. Similarly, this about text is also going to be similar to. So I'm going to give dot skills over here. And once after that, now let's go and style the unique styling elements for skill section. I'm going to type dot skills, I'm going to give height as 500 px and background color is hash 121212. So it's slightly a different variant here. Now let's check. So we got it like this. Now let's go and style this progression div. I'm going to type dot progress. I'm going to give height as 300 px. I'm going to say display is going to be flex. I'm going to give flex direction is column, and finally I'm going to give justify content as space evenly. Now let's see how it looks. Yes, it looks better. And finally, let's go and make this progress bar to 400 px. So I'm going to type dot progress. I'm going to use direct child selector. Progress. I'm going to say width is 400 px. Now we have built our my skill section also. Now let's build the work section. Let's come back to our HTML. As usual, I'm going to create a div. I'm going to give the classes work, and I'm going to give the ideas work. Inside this, I'm going to create one h2 tag for this my work. So let's give that. I'm going to create one h2 tag. I'm going to give my work inside that. Then I'm going to create one more div which is going to contain all these images. Let me create a div, and I'm going to give the class for this div as work pics. Inside this div, I'm going to have, let's take this as a span, right? Inside this, I'm going to give an image, and below that, I'm going to give a paragraph. And all these things are a clickable one, right? So I'm going to use an anchor tag for this. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to create a span, right? And inside the span, I'm going to have a anchor tag. And inside this anchor tag, I'm going to have an image, and I'm going to have below that, I'm going to have a paragraph. How many such things I want? I want 6 of those things. I'm going to give star 6. See what happens? We can either do it in this way, or else we can do it one by one, like creating a div, inside that creating a span, inside the span creating an anchor tag, inside the anchor tag giving one image and one paragraph. Like this also we can do. Now once after that, what we can actually do is, for all these spans, right, let's give classes card. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to put it in all the spans. Now let's quickly go and fill the text here. The first one is going to be the weather app. So let's give weather app, and for the image source, let's type dot /. Let's select the assets folder and select the weather app. Coming to the next one is going to be e-commerce website. Let's give e-commerce website here and give the respective image for it, online shopping. Coming to the next one, we're going to give redesign of YouTube. Let's give redesign of YouTube and dot forward slash in src. I'm going to select youtube.jpg. Next is going to be online snooker game. Gonna search snooker. Next is going to be music app, and finally food delivery app. If dot forward slash food dot jpg. Right, now we are done with all these things. Now let's go and check our output. Now all these images are going to take a lot of space, right? So once we style it, it'll be perfect. Before that, yeah, so we are using all these images are a clickable one, right? If you just notice that all these are clickable one. So here what I'm going to do is, if someone clicks on those images, I'm going to redirect them to prograd.org. So what you guys can do is you can give your GitHub repository link. Just giving the here. Let me show you. When we click on this, it takes us to prograd.org. Now we are done with our HTML part. Let's go and style work section in CSS. Let's go and type dot work. Just selecting the work section. I'm going to give headers 700px. I'm going to give background colors the color what we have already given, that is 1e 1e 1e. I'm going to give text align as center. Let's go and style these images. So I'm going to give dot work pics. I'm going to give width as 85%. Let's give display as grid. Let's give grid template column as 25%, 25%, and 25%. Let's finally give justify content as space around. Let's select the card and style the card. Let's give height as 250px. Let's give margin top as 30px. Let's give background color as hash 121212. Let's save it. Let's go and style the image now. Let me just type dot card space image. Let's give width as 100% and height as 200px. Let's check. Yeah, I think we have not given the class for this clearly. So let's give classes card. No, it looks like this. Let's go back to our style sheet. Now let's go and remove this underline. So let's select the dot card a, the anchor tag. I'm going to give text decoration as none. Now we have removed it. Fine. Now, since all these three sections are going to have a similar styling, I'm going to go and add one other class to the previous styling property. Coming here, already we have the same styling properties for about section and skill section. I'm going to give work section also dot work, and here I'm going to give dot card. Let's save it and see how it looks. Yes, it looks perfect. Now we are done with our work section. Now we have only one section is left out. Let's go and build let's talk section in HTML. I'm going to create a div and I'm going to give the classes let's talk and ideas let's talk. So inside this section I'm going to give h2 tag, and inside this I'm giving the let's talk. Below this I'm going to give span. I'm going to give the text what they have given here. Let's give this, and finally we have a button here, so I'm going to use an anchor tag for doing this. Let me just type a, and inside this I'm going to give let's talk. So if you wanted to use some emojis like this, if you're a Mac user, you can just click on Control, Command and Spacebar. You can find these symbols. If you're a Windows user, you can click on Windows key and click on period button. So in this anchor tag, I'm going to give mail to team@prograd.org, so that when someone clicks on this particular button, it opens the email and two will be kept as prograd team@prograd.org. So you can give your mail ID here. And I'm also going to give target as blank. And finally, I'm going to create one more div and for this particular text. I'm going to create one more div. I'm going to give classes copyright. Inside this, I'm going to give this text. Now we are done with our final let's talk section. Let's go and style this in CSS. I'm going to just select the let's talk section using class selector. I'm going to type dot let's talk. I'm going to give height as 300 px, background color as hash 121212. Let's see how it looks. Now let's style this span. I'm going to just type dot let's talk space span. I'm going to give width as 400 px, text aligners center, and margin top as say 10 px. Now let's go and style the anchor tag. I'm going to type dot let's talk space a. I'm going to give width as 150 px, font family as Poppins, font weight as bold, font sizes 16 px, background color is this. It is A861FF. It's also give margin top as 30 px. Let's give padding 10 px. Let's give text align as center. Let's remove the underline by typing text decoration as none. Finally, let's give some amount of border radius. Let's type border radius is 5 px. Yeah, like what we did previously, let's also add let's talk section to previous styling property. I'm gonna come here. We have dot about, dot skills, and dot work. I'm going to include dot let's talk here. Here I'm going to type dot let's talk space span. And also I'm going to give dot copyright. Now let's see how it looks. Now everything is looking perfect except this copyright part. Let's go and style it separately. So I'm going to select the copyright. It's copyright. I'm going to give margin top as 50 px. Let's give color as hash A2, A2, and A2. Now let's see how it looks. So there is one thing which we need to do before we complete this particular portfolio web page, that is the navbar. In this particular web page, yeah, when we click on home, it should take us to home. When we click on about, it should take us to about, skills, work, and let's talk, right? So to make this happen, what we should do is we should go here in the navbar. We're going to type hash profile. For about, we're going to give hash about. For skills, we're going to give hash skills. For work, we're going to give hash work. And the last one is going to be let's talk. Hash let's talk. When I go and click on home, it takes me to home. When I click on about, it takes me to about. When I click on skills, it takes me to my skills, work, and finally, let's talk. We have successfully completed building our portfolio web page. Here, for your reference, we have attached the code in the card above, but I would suggest you to do the project on your own. And only if you are stuck somewhere, refer the code file. Thank you. Happy learning.
Kudos to all those who made it this far. We hope that you coded along with Ram and built your own portfolio. We would love to see your project, so do mention your project links in the comments below. Along with that, do mention what you would like to see in the next episode of Build Your Own. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with all your budding developer friends. Remember, the more like and share, the more vibrant our tech community is. Happy coding!
If you want to start an awesome developer career in a leading product company, then our ProGrad programs can help you build the skill sets, confidence, and project experiences that are absolutely essential to achieve this big goal. Check out more about our ProGrad programs by going through the links in the description below.